Hello. Welcome to Such Nice Work. My name is Kendra. You can find me on Ravelry as Kendra KS and on Etsy as Cutesy Poo Creations and here on YouTube as Cutesy Poo Creations. I apologize for my voice. It's a little iffy today. Clearly that is a problem all over the place right now because just about every podcast I've listened to involves a lot of people apologizing for coughing and sniffling and varying degrees of not having a voice. But I figured I have not recorded in close to a month, I think, at this point. And if I didn't do it today, it's not going to happen. So you're going to get me in this state or no state at all. So French vanilla coffee. Delicious. And hopefully will keep me chugging along. So yeah, it's been a little while since I have podcasted. We've been busy, and I have been prioritizing, not procrastinating. They're very close in my world, but I have been prioritizing actual crafting over podcasting about crafting, which in a way was kind of good. I've caught way up on podcasts and things of that nature, and I've gotten a ton, which you will see here momentarily. I've gotten a ton done. You may notice that I am in a slightly different location. We had to move our computer over. It's only over like 3 feet, but it makes a big difference as far as where everything is set up. I had the tower on the floor under our desk, and my youngest son kept turning it off, which, as you know, is not good for a computer. And it's frankly just really obnoxious. Especially, he really liked to turn it off when his middle brother was watching, like a show on Netflix. So then not only would I be trying to get Netflix to reload and the computer to reload, I'd have 2 screaming children. One because he was in trouble for turning off the computer, and one because his brother turned a show off. So, computer moved over, and that has been working pretty well. In the process of doing all of that, I cleared the desk off completely, and that was really good. I also went through and, so, you're sitting right there on my desk, and if you were sitting there looking at me, to your right, there are a couple of Rubbermaid totes that are full of, like, electronic stuff, and I think one of them actually has baseball cards in it that need to go down to the basement. Still, not sure why we have the baseball cards. Hubby and I keep thinking we're going to get rid of them and then don't. So, I don't know. But I have a laundry basket on the top that is where my yarn craft stuff that ends up down here kind of sits while I'm working on it. And it's kind of where all my skeins kind of accumulate. And then when the pile gets too big and tall and starts to fall over, I carry things back upstairs where I store most of the yarn. Or when enough projects get done, I go and I put them in their little zippered bag on the shelf in the parlor, which is where that stuff lives. But it kind of sits by the computer, which is where I do most of my work, sitting in this little chair, which I have had we were figuring this out the other day. This chair is like 11 years old. I got it for Christmas my first year of college, so that would have been in like December of 2003. So, yeah. It's old, and I need a new chair, because this one creaks no matter what you do to it, but I kind of love it, and I haven't found another chair that's reasonably priced that is as comfortable, but the padding is starting to give out, and, well, I have plenty of padding of my own, not quite as much as I would need to make this chair as comfortable as it can be, so, on the lookout for a new chair. But yeah, my yarn and everything is over there, and I was going somewhere. This has been a major problem I've been having the last few days. My brain can't keep up with what is going on inside of it. Like, I have just way too many things to think about. So I'll start telling a story, and I will go off on some, like, mild tangents, which isn't uncommon in my world. But I forget where I was going, and I can't quite get around to it. So I apologize if I start telling you something and never quite get there. If there's something that I didn't get to and you care, comment and let me know, and I will finish telling you later. I could theoretically watch this and edit out all that junk, but I probably won't. It was funny, I actually had to go through and kind of scan the last episode, because I was going through all of the stuff that I had finished to figure out what I'd shown you and what I hadn't. And I think I have it sorted But if I don't, I don't. So yeah, so I've kind of cleaned up the area around the computer. That is why you see a different view behind me. The cats are romping about, so you will see them. That door you see is the door to our bathroom, and as you can see, has a baby gate in it. One of these days, I'm going to live in a world where we don't have doors gated all over the place to keep our kids out of them. But then I don't know what I'm going to do for a leg workout, because I tell you, it makes your legs pretty beefy climbing over those gates. So, yeah. Moving along. If this is your first time watching me, thank you. Hopefully you like what you see, and hopefully you will see it somewhat more frequently than it has been lately. I keep saying that, don't I? My goal is weekly. Okay, so some of the British podcasters have consistently used the term fortnightly, and I don't know why we don't use that term here in the States, because I think that is such a good term, and it sounds really nice. Fortnightly. So every 2 weeks-ish. Fortnightly-ish is kind of my goal. And if you are coming back, well, thanks. It's nice to see you again. Yeah. Not really sure who's out there in internet land, but hi! So today, let's see, what am I wearing? I made this necklace a while ago. And by a while, oh my goodness, I made this necklace in like 2006, so it's almost 10 years old too. And I made these earrings even before that. I made these earrings when I was in high school. My dad had bypass surgery, and my sister came up to visit, and she was into beading at the time, and so she brought all of her bead stuff with her. She's 16 years older than me, so she was like in her 30s then. And while my dad was having his bypass surgery, we're all in the waiting room crafting and beading and stuff, and people were looking at us like we're strange. But it was fun. It was a good way to pass the time. But yeah, these are the earrings that I made that day. And then yes, the necklace that I made to match an outfit I got, for my college graduation. Yeah. So, squeaky wheels. I don't even remember what my old squeaky wheels were. It's been a long time since I podcasted. I didn't take show notes on that one. Yeah, it was just a good thing it got up. So, yeah. I'm just gonna ignore whatever had been squeaking. Theoretically, I made it stop. But yeah, so my new ones for my life is to continue to follow kind of the routines for my day and try and get some non-craft things done in addition to craft things. I have been kind of trying to refocus us. We are getting busier and busier all the time, and trying to actually keep our house clean on top of that, and do the kids' lessons, and get all of the crafting I need to get done before my craft shows for the summer, and it's about to start garden season, and then we're going to start canning, and, you know, life just keeps it rolling. So I have been trying to organize that a bit more. I have been trying to keep a calendar, and that is helping. Hubby keeps a separate calendar, so I've instituted on Sundays, we have family meeting, where him and I both look at our calendars, and we go through day by day and discuss, like, where we need to have the kids at whatever times, and who's going to get them there. And also, since my husband works nights, his sleeping schedule can be a little wonky. So if we have like things in the evening, sometimes he has to sleep in the morning, and other times he's awake with us in the morning and he sleeps in the evening. So I've been trying to put that on the calendar, because I figured out that when he does or does not sleep, excuse me, can really mess with my plan for the day, or my lack thereof. So I've been trying to, go by the calendar a bit more. We've also kind of been going through and figuring out what kind of chores and stuff really need to get done that week. And dispersing what we can to the kids, and just knowing kind of like if he's going to go out and chainsaw, what days that's going to happen, so that I can better plan if he's going to be here to help me with the kids, when I can podcast. We keep bringing that up, and then it keeps not happening. In part, I will give it to him. He has given me a couple of opportunities to podcast that I have not taken, because either I was a slacker and was not happy with what I had done, or I wanted to finish a project or something. And so I kept putting it off, and then it just didn't get done. Or like one day I could have podcasted, but I was going to take a shower first, and that was a lot of work. So I didn't do that. Excuse me. But I did shower for you all today. Mostly just because showers are amazing. And so, yeah, I chose to do that before I came to talk to you. So yes, I want to try and keep up with the routines that I've kind of established. I need to try and get up earlier. The time change I basically have just not changed time this year. About the time the time change happened, I just started sleeping until 9 instead of getting up at 8. And then, which in part was because my son has been having a hard time sleeping at night, and he's been getting decent sleep in the morning, but if I get up, that doesn't always last. So, I've been taking advantage of that. But I've also, on the flip side, been staying up an hour or two later at night, so I haven't been going to bed till 1 or 2, at least. And that's not good. So I need to try and go to bed a little earlier, and then I also, need to try and get up a little earlier, so I'm probably going to start setting an alarm again. Because I do find that if I can get up, like, an hour before the kids, I can get a ton done. But that's not always practical, because sometimes they just wake up earlier because they recognize that I'm awake. So, I don't know. And then, let's see, my crafty squeaky wheel, the crafty thing that is, just squeaking around, needs to get done, is I need to finish the things that I've started, and then I need to resist the urge to start more until I'm done. I've discovered, when I started putting things together last night for all of this, which you can't see, but there's all of this around me, it really made it stand out to me, the fact that I've been really bad about actually, like, getting to the end of a project. Yes, I have been trying to do things in kind of an assembly line fashion, because I'm making multiples of a lot of things, because I am trying to get stuff together for craft shows this summer, but I still should just finish things. And not just have so many. I get so close to the end of a project, like, I'll need to just put eyes on it or something. And then new and shiny comes into my mind. Or what I think really happens is I start to think about what else I could be making. And then I get fixated on a particular project or an aspect of a project, or when I'm thinking about making something else, I start to wonder how I'm going to do something about it. And I get, like, obsessed about it, and so then I go and I look at the pattern, and I find the pattern I want to use, and the yarn I want to use, and then I just need to start, because I want to know how this, like, little fiddly bit, which is, like, in the middle of the project, works. And then I just put the thing that's almost done to the side, and it becomes, not done. So, I have put all of my works in progress in this lovely market bag that I made for my son last year. It's a swim bag during the summer. It's not so functional for most things because, as you can see, it has, like, the really big holes in it. But it holds a ton, so it works really well for putting, like, beach towels and stuff in. And when it has bathing suits and stuff in it, it works really nice because when it gets wet, it just dries out again because it's made out of peaches and cream. So, so I threw all of the bags and things that are not quite finished in here, and my squeaky wheel is to finish everything in this bag before I start anything else. This bag, and I have 2 other whips that are over here, which you will see, as well as I have some cards that have been started, as in I have printed out the base cards with my information, and things are starting to get cut and put together. Those I can finish. These and those need to all get done before I cast on anything else, because it's just ridiculous, and I need to rein it in, get this stuff done, because I would like all of this to be able to go with me to my shows that are coming up. So with that in mind, I will start with, will I procrastinate, will I prioritize, and we will go through what is in this lovely bag, and then I will show you the things that have actually been finished. So, let's see, these are going to be, they have not been started, but these are going in this bag, because this yarn, which is Deborah Norville's Serenity Chunky in Spring, and isn't it so, like, happy and spring colored? These are going to become some baby booties that, I have a finished pair, but these are going to become some of those. So, those are going to get done. This is a doll, a Wildflower baby doll, which you will see a couple of finished ones. But this is going to be a Bluebell doll. And as you can see, I have a head, I have a body, I have the legs and the arms all crocheted. The arms are stuffed, the legs are not, and the hood is all done. I just need, the eyes are even sewn on. I just need to sew the stupid thing together. In part, I think the reason this didn't get finished, I ran out of fiberfill. I need to go get more. I was going to buy more when I went to Joann's last Friday, but I looked at how much fiberfill was at Joann's, and it was ridiculous. I was not going to pay as much as it was when I knew what I could get it for at Walmart here. So, decided not to. But then, so then they had spring break here, and I was going to just go get it at Walmart when I went to Marysville for my daughter's dance lessons. Well, then they had spring break for the schools around here, and there was no dance last week, so I couldn't go to Walmart. I mean, I guess I could, but I didn't want to drive a half hour away and spend money on gas if I didn't have anything else to do in town. Because both dance and library were canceled last week for us, which was great. I got a lot of extra time at home. The kids are a little stir crazy, but the weather's been nice. They've been able to play outside. But I wasn't able to go to Walmart and get the fiberfill to finish these. But yeah, this is almost all together. I just need to finish sewing it. I was weaving in ends last night on this in hopes of getting it done for today's podcast, but that did not quite happen. Let's see, what's next? Oh, this lovely beauty. So I was working on this. I had some of this Red Heart Super Saver that I got when I was in California in the Wildflower colorway. They don't sell this colorway at any of the stores that are local to me, but my mom's Michaels had it, and I thought it was really pretty. I've seen people use this colorway on other things, and I always liked it, but yeah, we didn't have it. So I bought some, and as I was starting to make a stationery holder out of it, I started, and then I realized that it reminded me of the Rainbow Fish. Have you ever read that book? But this was just very rainbow fish colored to me, and it was starting to get springy. And so I used the Primrose Stitch, which I got out of the Stitch Dictionary, New Stitch a Day, I think it is. Has like a really good visual stitch dictionary for both knit and crochet. But I was just going through the crochet ones to see some different stitches I could use for my stationery holders. So I started making this, and so I decided the other color that went with it, the white is metallic. It's I love this yarn metallic in white, and it's sparkly. And so it totally reminded me of the Rainbow Fish. If you haven't read the book, the Rainbow Fish has this one shiny fin. And so I made a little fish applique that's going to go on here too when I put the little doodle on to hold it closed. So yes, so this just needs to be stitched up along the edges. All of the crocheting is done. I just need to finish it. But of course, you know, something else exciting happened. But I believe I put down a project to start this because I saw the yarn and it made me think of the Rainbow Fish, and that was all exciting. And what else is in the bag? I have these birds. I have been making these stuffed birds. I made my son one for Christmas. But they're going to be a bird, and they have little parts. All of them have 2 wings and a tail and a beak, and I've crocheted all the parts, and the parts are all just shoved inside them because I need to sew those parts on and then stuff these. I also need to put eyes on them. So I just need to do it. But in here there's like 6 birds all ready, all their parts made. I just need to put the parts on. So and this only took me like, I don't know, I watched like 2 episodes of the Weasley Sisters, and I made all of these in that amount of time, and all their parts. So they didn't take very long, and then I just never got back to putting the pieces on the next morning. So I need to do that, and here is a doll. I showed you this little doll on the last podcast. She has little arms, and this one, her hair is even all done. I just need to sew eyes on her, and I need to sew her pieces together. She just needs to get put together. She is even stuffed, so I need to do that. And then she has some little friends. Her friends are even sewn together. They just need eyes and hair. I need to make the hair still. But there's this one. Hi! And there's this one. This one is going to get a necklace because I don't know what I did with her head, but I cannot for the life of me get this doll's head to sit correctly. I have tried stitching it on several different ways, and this is just kind of the way it finally ended up. So I'm going to make her a necklace, and the necklace will help support her little dome, which is actually not so little. These look like little potato people when they don't have hair, but they are quite adorable when you put hair on them. I mean, they're pretty stinking cute right now. So then there's also this one that is all ready. They just need hair and eyes. And let's see, what else do we have in here? Oh, there's another one that is just in need of a head and arms. And part of that was I ran out of the color I wanted to use for the skin on this doll. And I got some more when I went to Joann's last week, but I had not gotten back to doing these dolls. I was doing other things since then. So let's see, we're getting down to not many things in here. I made this little octopus. He's pretty cute. He kind of looks like a jellyfish to me, actually. The pattern claims octopus. It's kind of interesting. This pattern has a lot of short row shaping in it, which turned out okay. I don't know that I like it as much in the Variegated as I would have liked it in a solid with all of the short rows. I mean, I don't know. But he just needs eyes. That's all that he's missing. And he's got these little flaily legs. They're kind of fun. And here is a piece of chocolate pie. For whatever reason, I have taken to making yarn food because, I don't know, it's fun. So, there's this piece of chocolate pie. It, too, needs to be stuffed, but I had run out of stuffing. So, yeah. So, it needs to be stuffed and have whipped cream made to stick on it. So, I'm working on that. And then I have pie crust made for more pie. I'm going to make some key lime pie and some lemon pie and some cherry pie to sell. So, there's that. And this. So, one of the shows I'm going to is called the Tulip Festival in Wamego, Kansas. So, this is a pattern from Lion Brand. It's called Tulip Purse. The thing turned out ugly. Like, I'm not super happy with it at all. But I was kind of looking at it, and I'll show you later. I made a teacup, a tulip teacup. I think I'm going to put a handle on this and make a lid for it. And if you bend the little petals of some of these, it looks like a spout, like a teapot. So I think I'm going to make like a toy tea set that's all shaped like tulips. I think the one is finished to look better. Right now, I mean, I've got ends hanging everywhere, but I would just, if you see this pattern, ignore it. It's not really worth making, I don't think. Let's see. What else do I, oh, just things like this. This owl. I made this around Valentine's. It's still waiting for eyes. It is even stuffed because I stuffed it with a bit of a scarf that I made that didn't work when I frogged it. All it needs is eyes, and then it needs like 4 stitches in the top to close it up. But it's not done. Why isn't it done? I don't know. No really good reason, so I need to finish that. And then, the other night, because, you know, I didn't have enough things that needed to be done, I started to make another project to make this adorable Mr. Fox. I think that's what it's called. Yes, Adorable Mr. Fox. That is the name of it. So yeah, here's his head. His muzzle is on the desk over there. But yeah, I started in on him. So those need to get done. I also had started to, make a horse and a reindeer. I had a play mat that I had made that I done like in the dark when I first started crocheting. And needless to say, when you are new to crochet, it is very easy to take something square and very quickly make it not a square or not a square because you don't take your last stitch or you add to your last stitches. So yeah, I was not making a square or rectangle. I was making some other weird shape. So I frogged it, which actually turned out to be a mission for the Fiber Arts Corps, Star Trek Fiber Arts Corps and Ravelry group, and I frogged that yarn out, and I'm starting to make it into a horse and a reindeer. So hopefully those will get done soon as well. And then to the pretty things, the things I'm making for myself right now. I've been working a bunch on this, which is one of the items from my 30 for 30 list that I made myself. One of the things I wanted to make for myself this year is this layering tunic vest, which, I mean, that picture is not super great. There's actually there's one person that has a completed project of this that has pictures of their own on it. There's like 3 projects that come up, but a bunch of them just have the image of the pattern on it. but the one that actually has pictures, her pictures are really good and they are helpful. They were very clear, in part because she used like cream colored yarn and she's wearing a dark top underneath it, so you can really see what's going on stitch wise. And I actually think I found some problems in the pattern, but I just looked at her picture and quit following exactly what the pattern said and just followed logic. So here, let's see. This is using a G hook, which I bought a couple of these when I was in California. The Boy like soft ergo hooks. I really like them. I actually bought a couple more when I was at Joann's the other day, especially for using the G's and the F's. This has made a huge difference in my hand for doing the stuff with the smaller hooks. Made out of Tahiki Yarns New Tweed, and the color is like a number 035. So I bought this yarn when I was in California visiting my parents. So this is the back of the tunic, and so far I have, so there's the bottom, this is the bottom section, and this is like a waistband. It's kind of like an empire waist. So I'm about halfway done with the back. So I've just started in on the top section, the bodice, and then it'll decrease for arms, and then has a yoke, and then the 2 front panels. So we'll see. I was kind of hoping to get this done by the end of the month, but maybe, maybe not. But I'm putting some good effort in on that. That's kind of the project I've been taking when I go places or like when I'm waiting for whatever reason. So this top has taken me forever. I finally have now learned all the stitches, but just about every section on the bottom I did like 4 times because I either did things wrong or didn't quite understand the way the pattern was worded, or I'm just an idiot and missed the line once. So yeah, I mean, if you put together all the bits and pieces I've made of this, the back of it would be done, and then some. But, you know, that's not how it works. The other thing that I have worked on, though I don't think I've touched this in like over a week, is the shawl that I was making. It had been a mystery crochet along for the Rose City Yarn Crawl, which happened at like the beginning of March. I did not get it done in time, but it wasn't like I was going to the yarn crawl anyways, so that was not a big deal. But this is what it looks like. The pattern has now been fully released as not, you know, mystery anymore. So this gray along the bottom is Cascade 220 fingering, and not the superwash, the non-superwash. And this bottom edge has beads all over it, though. Unless you're right up on it. I picked beads that were like I happen to have beads that were like the exact same color. And as my first beading project, I thought I would use that because that way if I messed it up, you couldn't tell too bad. But yeah, there's like a ton of beads along this bottom edge, which I've kind of been looking at it. I might go back and just pull out this bottom edge and do it without the beads because I don't know that I really like them. But yeah, so this is the end of clue 3. I have the last row of clue 3 to do, and then there is a clue 4 that puts an edging along this top part, which is also going to be in the gray. And then hopefully I'll be able to wear this to LACMA craft shows this summer. So, I don't know. I like the color. I think it'll turn out nice, I think, when it's all done. It'll need to be blocked a little, I think, though I don't know how much blocking I'm going to do. Blocking? Just a lot of work, and I don't know, it's not really my thing. I'm already going to have to hand wash this, and that is a great deal more effort than I tend to put into things like that. So, we'll see, but I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I really like this Araucania yarn. So, it's funny, I had never heard of Araucania as a company when I bought this yarn, which was not, I mean, that terribly long ago. But since I bought it, and I bought it as a closeout from Webs, I've heard so many people using Araucania yarn, and so it's kind of funny because there's my hero. I'm like, hey, I have some of that, which, I mean, not that it's particularly special yarn, but, I mean, to me it was special because I thought it was really pretty, and it was the first batch of, like, nice fingering weight that I had bought for anything, and, but yeah. So I bought some more Araucania since then, in a cotton that, I'm looking forward to making into a shawl, but I have this to finish first. Okay, closing that. So I believe that that is all of the things that I need to finish before I am allowed to start new things. Do you think I'm going to be able to do it? Do you think I'm going to be able to wait to not start anything else? There's some dishclothy things and some stuff with some cotton that I would like to get going. But I need to finish these things. That's kind of where I'm at. So on to I'm proud of you. I am actually very proud of myself. I didn't quite realize how much stuff I had actually gotten done since the last time that we all chatted. But then especially, I mean, it can be a little overwhelming when I see the giant bag of stuff that is not completed. But it's not that I haven't been putting energy into stuff, because clearly I have been getting things done. I mean, and also there's just, that's a lot of stuff. And there's more parts to like these dolls and stuff. I have more components done. But they're not as far as these. So I need to get these done before I mess with those components. But I also did get some things finished. So we are going to start with what's next to me. So I made these the other day. These are some baby booties. They are using the Vanilla Mint Booties pattern by Anastasia Cruz, which you can find on Ravelry. These are like a 6-month baby size. They are made out of Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky in a blue color. I forget what it's called. But they are so stinking soft. I have just really been liking these. I was playing with them. I'm like, I think I might need to make myself some booties out of this yarn. It's acrylic, so it's washable. I think it's going to be fairly durable. It's probably going to get fuzzy, but I don't know that that's a huge issue with baby booties. And I used a J hook, so these went really quick. So I was happy with that. Let's open this down here. So I've been working on those. And another thing that I finished is I showed you that chocolate pie. Well, here is a piece of completed pie. I've been calling it a cutie pie. This is blueberry pie, as indicated by the blue filling. And it has a little dollop of whipped cream on it. I thought these would be fun for the summer. I've been trying to think of things to put in my booth at the various festivals I'm going to, because I have a bunch of stuff that I made this winter when I went to festivals, but in Kansas, when it's hot and humid, you're not going to be looking to buy scarves and hats and like super warm shawls. Not happening. So cute things like pie, because us Midwesterners, we love us some pie. So I'm making those. So this, I told you I was thinking about turning that purse into a teapot. Well, this is a teacup that I made. I mentioned that one of the festivals I'm going to is actually called the Wamego Tulip Festival, so I thought I should try and make some things that were tulip themed. So this is a red tulip teacup made out of Super Saver in red and patty green. Used a G-hook and the Tulips Teacup Yarn Crochet Ornament pattern on Ravelry. And, you know, this would be cute. And even if you like smoosh it, which is easy to do, which means that you could store it easily, it just pops up pretty nice and quick. So I might even be able to make a set where like the cups just fit inside that pot. That's what I'm going to do. So, tulip teacup. And then I made another stationery holder. This is out of another colorway of Super Saver that we don't have anywhere local to me, but I found at my mom's. And this is called French Country. And this is just in a pattern of double and single crochets. And then it has this cute flower button on it. Which if I was trying to button it the right way, would have been easier to open. So yes, and then on the inside, you know, there's a little pocket. And there will be stationery to go in it, but I have not pulled the stationery to go in it yet. So that is that on the stationery holder. And we have, what's next? Croc socks. So for Christmas, I made my mom a pair of Croc socks. And she liked them so well, I thought I would make a couple pairs for sale. So this is in the men's size 10. And it is out of Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky in that same blue color that I don't remember. And then the bottoms are held double with Super Saver, and this is in chocolate because the blue color has like brown mixed in it, brown and white. So Made the bottoms with the brown in it too. So these are kind of a masculine, or they just fit women with big feet, because these are actually the size that I wear, because I wear a women's 12 for shoe. So, yeah, that's a men's 10. But yeah, so these are Croc socks, and I made them using the Clog Liners pattern by Carol Ballard that you can find on Ravelry, and they're easy to work up, and I think they're super cute, and they're really, really comfortable. So yes, I made this pair, and then I also made the second pair, and this is out of the Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky in spring, and I held the bottom double with Red Heart Super Saver in turquoise. So these are just so happy. I was making these on like the first day. It happened to be warm around here. The project I pulled out that morning was to make these, and they were just making my little heart all springy and warm. And it was fun. So yes. Spring is like the perfect name for this colorway. A bunch of their colorways I'm kind of like, that's not what I'd call it, but spring, well chosen. Obviously planned on joining some of the monthly crochet alongs with the Red Heart Lovers group. I'm apparently really bad at actually turning in the information for crochet alongs. It's not even that I don't make the items. It's not that I'm not doing them in the time period. It's that I'm a huge fail at taking pictures. Number one, because I don't think of taking the pictures till it's like late and dark and you can't see anything even if I take them. And number two, because I have to take them on my camera and then upload them onto Ravelry and then put them on a project page, which I don't make project pages in Ravelry because I just don't, which is a lot of work. And I'm usually trying to rush and do it, and somebody's usually flipping out while I'm trying to do it. And I don't know why I keep thinking I should join these things, but I do. In part, I think just because it's fun. I mean, the stress and all that junk isn't fun, but the idea of doing it with other people, and sometimes they, I mean, most likely, they have picked patterns that I would not pick myself. So, you know, variety, that's always nice. Since I find something that I like. So this month was using the One Skein Summer Wrap by Marty Miller, which you can find on Ravelry. And it's actually a pattern that was written for Karen 1 Pound. So clearly it's not going to be for one skein of any Red Heart yarn. I don't think there's any of them that are quite as big as the 1 pound. There might be. None that I had. But I had this, I think it is in the artistic print colorway. There's another skein that I got when I was at my mom's, and Dad's, but my mom was with me when I bought it, in California, and it was a colorway that we do not have in our local stores, local being an hour away. So I started to make the wrap. Well, what do you know, since it is much smaller, it's a much smaller skein, it made a much smaller, shawl. And I didn't have any more of it, and so I decided to put it with this frosty green, and I decided to make a shawl, which, if I can get it not caught in my hair, actually has like a built-in little thingy, it's cinched in, so it's kind of like a bow, to hold it together, so you can just kind of wear it like on your shoulders, like that, and then I made the little flower, which is on a pin, which is pinned on there. So, made that. Thought that would be kind of cute and like Easter-y, for that sort of thing. But I didn't turn it in. I didn't sign up for this crochet along. The last month I signed up for and then just never even bothered to make the slippers. And then this month I didn't even turn in the stuff for it. It was also funny, the amount of time this ended up taking me. The original wrap part, super quick. The stitch pattern is really nice. I would probably make something like this again. But to do this front bit, it turned out, I finally figured out that since I needed the top to be smaller than the bottom for it to stay on, that I needed to do like a decrease. I guess I did an increase. No, decrease. Along one of the sides. So like I went all the way across and then I did one less, one less, one less, one less. So it turned out like a diagonal line, and the other one I did straight and then I seamed them together. As I slip stitched them together. So they made like a diagonal line that made it not as big on the top as it was on the bottom, so that they would stay up. So I've still been playing with it. I need to make, I think I need to make this a little smaller, and then it will stay. But you can also, in addition, you can wear it as like an infinity scarf, and you can take the flower off if you want. I live in the great state of Kansas, and one of the other shows I'm going to is called the Kansas Sampler Festival, which is a show that's basically supposed to be all about the great state of Kansas and what you can find and purchase here and what is produced by Kansas and Kansans. So I'm making a bunch of sunflower-themed items for that show, and for the Tulip Festival when we go as Kansans. We just like sunflowers. So this is a sunflower hat. It is made off of the Sunflower Sun Hat by We Crochet. I use Super Saver in gold and chocolate, and when my son puts it on, it's really stinking cute. This fits like a toddler. It'd probably fit up to like maybe a 4-year-old. But it's pretty adorable. And it went together pretty easily. I'd probably make something like it again. The brown, I might have made a little too much brown. I probably would switch to the yellow sooner, but this is just following the instructions. And also, if you made it for like a smaller kid, you wouldn't necessarily need as much hat because, you know, you'd start your, you wouldn't do as many increases. So you could get by with less brown, more yellow, which might be more appealing, especially if I made it in like a pink or something for a different flower. But I was going for sunflower because, well, state flower and all. So let's see. Oh, speaking of sunflowers, so I was working on my wildflower baby dolls last time, and I showed you the parts. Well, I actually finished one in time to enter it in the Star Trek Fiber Arts Corps. This is my sunflower wildflower baby doll, and it's adorable. And it's got this little hood that makes it like a sunflower, and it has eyes. Now, my dolls do not have mouths on them, which I know might seem a little odd, but I have found with my children that they have way better imaginative play with dolls that do not have mouths. For whatever reason, when the dolls have a mouth, I think it's that they always look like they're smiling or they're not smiling or whatever, and so the kids just stick with the doll having the expression that is plastered on their face. But whenever I've given my kids a doll that does not have a mouth on it, suddenly this doll just comes to life. And same with animals, any kind of like stuffed toy I've made them, because it actually started because I was too lazy to put a mouth on something. And my son just suddenly started telling me all about what the doll was doing and what the giraffe was doing, and they were just doing all these things, and they were having all these feelings, and it was super cool. Get out and quit putting mouths on things, and they had a way better reaction to things without mouths than things with them. So, I need to say there are no mouths, which might weird some people out, and I will explain to them the fact that I have found that kids have more imagination, and they seem to interact with the dolls a little bit more that don't have the mouths. So I don't know if that's just me. I have seen other kids do it too. So we'll see. Also, their faces, I mean, when you're actually up close to them, there is some, like, definition to their head. Their heads are shaped, and you can also, you know, you can squoosh their face a little because they're soft. So, that's another thing I kept meaning to talk about. So, with stuffing stuffies, I stuff my stuffies pretty tight. Like, not tight enough that it spreads the stitches, because that is no bueno. To see white stuffing out of light green, that's not good. But I stuff mine fairly tight. Now, I have received stuffed toys that other people have made, and their toys are much squishier than mine. So I don't know. Do you stuff your stuffies so that they are like, you know, there's a decent amount of like stuff to them, or do you make them really like kind of droopy? I don't know. This is just my preference. I think they display nicer when they're a little stuffed. I feel like they have been, the ones that I have made that are more stuffed versus less stuffed, the more stuffed ones have held up better to the amount of abuse my children will give them. They also go through the washing machine a little better, I find. Because sometimes with things that are loosely stuffed, when you put them in the washing machine, they, the stuffing kind of like balls up all over the place, but if they're stuffed pretty full and stuffed pretty tight, you don't have that problem because the stuffing doesn't have anywhere to go, basically, and it just stays where it's supposed to. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on stuffing? Yes, no, how much? But yeah. this is my sunflower doll. And it has a sibling. Its sibling is a Daisy doll. So the Daisy doll so this has Cafe Lattes for the face and gold Super Saver for the hat and Hunter Green for the body. And then the Daisy has a bright yellow face, white for the hood, and patty green for the body, which, is supposed to like stems and leaves and stuff. So those are the little wildflower babies, and I have more that need to be finished, and more parts and stuff to put together. Oh, so now we're on to one of my most favorite things that I have made since the last time we talked is this. I turned it in for one of my missions on Star Trek Fiber Arts Corps, and on the mission I commented that it's supposed to be making something speedy, and I said that I was trying to tell my cadets about how the replicators had made life so much faster and easier, but then the replicator, I asked it for a sandwich and string cheese, and it made me a cheese sandwich out of string. So this is my cheese sandwich out of string. So you have bread, you have a tomato, and you have lettuce, and you have cheese, and you have another piece of bread. It makes a little play sandwich, and then it all fits in this little sandwich bag. So, I don't know. I think they're super cute. I think my hubby thinks they're a little ridiculous, but I think they're cute, and I think it's a funny idea, and it would make me smile to see this somewhere. I tell you, I don't know why all of a sudden yarn food is a thing with me, but yarn food is a thing with me. And not like the cutesy yarn food that has a face on it. Like, I want to look like play food, but be made out of yarn. I don't know. Some dishcloths, too. Last time I talked to you, it was my daughter's birthday. And in the car that day, I had made one cupcake dishcloth. And then I started making, like, the parts to make the cupcake top, like the frosting. Well, now I have 2, 3, 4. I need to, like, iron these or wash them or something. They're a little curly on the bottom. They will lay flat. I think in part, I had them in a stack under something that kind of pulled up the edge a little. Like they just sat that way too long. So I need to fix that. But yes, I have cupcake dishcloths. Don't you like my fancy project bags right now? Everything is in these Ziploc bags. Which actually, I've had the same set of Ziploc bags for like a decade. I've used it for numerous quilting projects where I would start cutting out pieces and they would go in these bags, and then as I got them done, I'd put the bags away and then I'd pull them back out, whatever. And the Ziploc freezer bags hold up really well for this kind of use. More so than other plastic bags that I've tried. So that makes it worth the price for them. If, they last. Which I recognize that most people don't think of plastic, like, zip top bags as being expensive, but I just don't use them for the most part. In part because we kind of cut out using plastic to store things. We store most things in glass Pyrex, just because that's what we do. That and canning jars. This is using the Sunflower Dish or Washcloth by Elizabeth Ann White. So there's the brown, and then I like how this one had a little bit of green in it, and the yellow. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are done. I like those. They're very soft. It happened the other day. By the other day, I mean now this is like a month ago. I happened to have gone, so I didn't have enough yarn when I bought all that yarn in California. I went to Walmart when my daughter was in dance class, and they had a bunch of peaches and cream that was just getting discontinued, and so they were like 70 cents a ball. So I bought a bunch of balls of that, which turned into a bunch of these. Yeah. So these are scrubbies, which, means that they're like double layer in the middle. And these are from the Sunflower Kitchen set by Julie Fort. And these are the Sunflower Scrubbies. I think that the pattern says that you can use that like scrubby stuff for the other side. but I'm fine. I don't really like using things that are too abrasive on my pans because the nonstick pans, it ruins them and stuff. So I just like something with a good bit of tooth to it, but that is not too abrasive. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then we have 2 other dishcloths that I only made 1 of each of these. This is the large sunflower dishcloth from that same sunflower kitchen set by Julie Fort, which I do like. I actually, I just ran out of yellow. This was the end of the yellow yarn that I had. So I think that I will probably make some of these out of some, like, I have some pinks and stuff. So I might do that at a different time. And I also made this, which is a ice cream cone. It has a little cherry on the top. And I like these. This is a pattern called Ice Cream Cone Dishcloth by Lily's Sugar and Cream. And according to the pattern, 1 ball of the variegated and 1 ball of brown will make you 8 dishcloths. So, yeah, this is 1 because I did it as a test. But I have, you know, obviously more yarn. And I think this just looked like cherry chip ice cream and it made me want ice cream. But what doesn't make me want ice cream? Come on now. Ice cream is amazing. So that's super cute and kind of fun. It was fun to make too. I've been enjoying making the dishcloths. Because I think I've mentioned before, when I started crocheting, I just skipped the phase where you make dishcloths and things like that. So now it's kind of fun to go back. Because they're easier projects in a lot of ways. They're a little bit more fun. They're more instant gratification. Though working in the cotton yarn at a small gauge can start to hurt your hand. So they're kind of a good project to have going when you have other things and kind of go back and forth and back and forth. Because I find that part of the reason I can get so much done is if I switch between projects. I had been trying to switch between hook size, but so much of what I'm making anymore is on a G hook, especially any of the like amigurumi stuff, because I like the fabric I get with a G. I feel like I had been using much larger hooks when I started. In part, it was probably because I was making things like scarves and shawls and things, so I could, they had more holes in them. And now I'm making more things that are stuffed, and so holes are a bad thing. So then I have these. These are sunflower coasters, and they are using the sunflower dishcloth and coasters by Yarn Genie. On Ravelry, and that's Genie, Jeannie, Yarn Genie. And these are cool because they are just like a brown in the round coaster, and then the way you apply the edging, which is just chains, back and front loop chains, makes these little like flower edgy things, and they're super cute, both just, you know, having a stack. And they are also cute. You can't see my cup, but my cup is now on the coaster, and it's adorable. So, I made those, and there are 8 of those, so I'll probably sell these as like 2 sets of 4. And that is all of the things that I'm proud that I made, I think. That is all that I could find easily when I went through stuff. So I think this is everything I did. Oh, no, it's not! I just realized behind me is my last thing, which has me the most excited. So this I have been calling my Rainbow Heart of Happy. I have made this heart pattern before. It's like a baby blanket. It is from the Crochet Leaf. I found it's linked the website that it comes off of. I actually found the pattern because I had made like a heart applique off of her pattern, and I found the heart on Ravelry, took me to her site, and then I found the baby blanket. So, it's like this. It's got purple and blue and green and yellow and orange and pink, you know, rainbowy colors, except it's pink instead of red. And then around the edge is and all of that's Super Saver. And then around the edge is I Love This Yarn in the metallic white again. And I started it the other day. I forget, because I was doing the birds. Anyways, I had most of these colors of yarn out, and they were just sitting in my basket next to the computer, and I kept looking at them, and I was kind of like, oh, those would make a kind of a nice rainbow together. And then they started making me feel happy and springy, and then I was like, ooh, I should make, you know, I figured out how many rows there were and if it would be possible to divide evenly, and it was pretty nice. It divided pretty equally. To make this blanket, and I'd enjoyed this blanket the last time I made it, because I made one out of Zebra Super Saver too. And so I started on it, and I was fairly monogamous while I was making this. I don't know why. I was just in it, and the weather was getting warm, and it was happy and fun, and just working on it for whatever reason made me smile. So the rainbow heart blanket of happy is done, and hopefully will make somebody else happy as well. So that is all of the things that I am proud that I have made. Left, right, center. There we go. Okay, so moving along, on to hoarding a mountain of good intentions. Clearly, I just have a big mountain of good intentions right now, because I think I'm going to get a bunch of this stuff done between now and my shows. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think I have a lot done. I would like to have more. I recognize, too, that I might be taking way more stuff than I actually sell. But I would hate to go and not have enough, you know? So I figure I'll really stock up for this show, and then if I don't have to make more for the next couple of shows, that's great. Then I can just personally craft for a while. So things that I have added to the hoard. I have told you before, I'm in the Pancake and Lulu Fiber Club, and I got my February shipment like right after I podcasted last time. So here, Steve, he's waving at me through the window. He's the kids outside. Now he's making faces at me out the window. So now he's trying to flash me through the window. So this is amazing and beautiful. And it is called Candy Apple. It is the February colorway I got. And it is Australian Merino 64's top. It's 3 ounces of 100% merino wool. And it is from Pancake and Lulu on Etsy. I love this particular braid. This one is going away for a while. Oh, it's so soft. And I just love the colors, and there's greens and browns and like fuchsia. I'm a sucker for a little bit of fuchsia. So that was this, and so then I was super excited to get Marches. So I get Marches, and you know, it's got a little come in this bag, and it's all cute, and excuse the crinkling. I pull it out, and it is Falkland, and it says that it is Dark Trail, but it looks almost identical. And by almost, I mean I pulled out the other braid, which I have kind of torn into already. It's identical to Frostly, which is what I got for January. So I emailed them, and they were great. I explained that, you know, it looked the same. And she was just saying that she has a lot of people in the club, and yeah, it must have been a mix-up, because she tries to keep track of what she sent everybody, and clearly I got 2 skeins that were really, really similar. So she's supposed to be sending me another skein of something else. But look, I mean, this is a very pretty colorway. It just, I was hoping, I was like, ooh, what's it going to be? Asked my daughter. I squealed in the car when I opened it, and there was my fiber in the mailbox, and yeah, then it was a color that I already had. But now that means that I have 6 ounces of this instead of 3, so that means I can make more yarn, and I kind of played with some of it already, potentially a little before I probably should have, so it didn't work out super great, so it'll be nice to have a little bit more to give me some yardage. I have done a little bit of spinning. My spindle is full right now. I need to figure out how to remove the yarn. I know I need to like make a lazy Kate or something and roll it off, and then I think I'm just going to leave it as singles. So I need to then, you know, like skein it and soak it. So I've been naturally spinning really, really, really thin. And I didn't like that because I know that I like chunkier yarns. I was trying to teach myself to spin thick, which I had heard was easier to do than spinning thin, but anyways, it's very thick and thin and not super great. But what you gonna do? It's pretty. I've been spinning my pumpkin patch colorway from Maine Yarn and Fiber. So, yeah, I'll get that off there hopefully soon and get on to spinning some more. But I probably won't be spinning much till later this summer because spinning just takes a while, and I need to do it consistently to have good results. So moving along to what I'm reading, I gave up on Anna Findy Poplars. I didn't have patience for her. She felt very whiny to me with what was going on. So anyways, I'll go back to it, because it's not worth reading something I'm not in the mood for. And my daughter kind of checked out of listening to it because it had moved very much on to Anne and her romance and less of Anne and her being, like, fun and crazy. And so, yeah. I have, however, started reading War and Peace. I also started watching a new podcast called The Uncreated Crafter. Uncreative, in case you couldn't understand that. The Uncreative Crafter. And she decided that she was going to finish reading War and Peace this year. And in listening to her, I've always thought, and part of her reasoning was that then she could, like, tell people, hey, I read War and Peace. Well, I always thought that'd be kind of cool myself, to just be able to be like, yeah, read it, all of it. And I knew it was really long. I didn't quite realize how incredibly long. It's like, in the version that I downloaded, because I downloaded the ebook onto my computer, because my library doesn't carry War and Peace, probably because nobody checks it out. But it's like 1,300 pages. And I know it's in multiple volumes, but it's 1,300 pages. So she was reading it, and I was like, hey, I'd be interested in doing that. So I went and found it and downloaded it. I think I've read, like, 2 or 3 chapters so far. Which is cool. I should read some more of it this week. But, the thing I thought was really interesting is it is way more, like, dishy and, I don't know, I always thought it was going to be, like, a very serious, clearly it's going to get more serious, I think, based on the fact it's, like, kind of historical and stuff, but I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting, and I'm finally doing, reading one of those books I kept saying I was going to read, and if it's terrible, I'll just give up on it, because, there are classics that sometimes they're just not your cup of tea. Like Wuthering Heights, I have tried to read a number of times. Just not happening. I'm never going to get to the end of that one. So, that's just the way it goes. What I'm watching, I'm still watching Gilmore Girls at night before I go to bed. And I am still being super impressed by the amount of yarn crafted, most knit and crocheted items that they are wearing on the show. It had never stood out to me to the extent that it has, and I've seen several patterns where I'm like, ooh, I want that. So I'll definitely have to go there for some inspiration when I'm at a point where I can be inspired. Right now I can be inspired, I'm just not allowed to. And then me and the hubby have been watching tons of Star Trek. Tons. Our kids have actually taken to their new favorite game to play is Enterprise. They pretend that they are Captain Picard and Counselor Troy and Commander Riker. They all go up to their room and they jump on their trampoline and do whatever it is that they do that they decide is happening. Also, since they're Worf, they like to be Worf too. So yeah, I've been looking for new podcasts on YouTube. I don't know how you all find new podcasts. I know that in part, you find different people talking about them. But is it just me, or does everybody only talk about the same batch of podcasts? And perhaps it is because I am watching the podcasts that have been talked about, that it's like the loop. Like, you talk about your friends, and then your friends talk about you. I use friends in the air quotes because I don't know. The idea of friends on the internet is kind of weird to me. I hear the internet is a great place to find friends. I have never made that happen. Really, I mean, I think in my entire life I've only talked to one person that I did not know in person online for an extended period of time, and I don't talk to them anymore. And that was a really, really long time ago. I'm totally open to the idea of finding friends online. I actually think it would be amazing, especially now that there are things like Skype, where you could have a friend on the other side of the world, and you and your friend could sit, and rather than like talking on the phone or mailing letters, you can look at this person and discuss whatever is going on. I would love to find somebody that wanted to hang out with me on a somewhat individual level, rather than necessarily like these VKNs where you have large groups and it's kind of a thing. I would happy to find somebody that wanted to be like my buddy through the internet. I just haven't figured out how to do that, or found a person to do that with. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But it sounds like a great idea. It sounds like fun. And I'm glad that there seem to be lots of people that have made all these great connections online. Perhaps I don't because my whole life is not necessarily on the internet. But I don't know. Anyways, I have been looking for new podcasts. Part of the way I've been looking is finding people's podcasts who I like, and then if you go to their YouTube channel, a lot of them have their subscriptions are like public, so you can look at everything they subscribe to and going through and finding people that they watch. And I think that that's really a cool way to do it. And I have found that I tend to be more drawn to people that don't have a crazy number of subscribers. I do like watching people that have a decent number of videos. I mean, decent meaning they've done it more than once or twice, and that they have done it somewhat consistently, which I recognize my consistency has not been that great lately, so I don't know that I should be one to judge, but I do. That's just what happens. But I have been more, I've been enjoying more the podcasts that seem to have lower subscriber numbers, but I mean, they have some subscribers, but not the huge ones, not crazy popular. Though that is just kind of how I roll in life. I tend to like things that are not the most popular. If they're super popular, they tend to not be my thing. I've also kind of been going through the podcasts that I was watching and subscribing to and culling out some of them. As far as things on the Funny Farm, we have had a lot going on here because, you know, it's been a while since I've talked to you. Since I talked to you last, Steve, my hubby, turned 32. Yay! So we had, the last one I talked to you was my daughter's 6th birthday, and then my husband turned 32 the day before St. Patrick's Day. And that was exciting. I asked him if, we didn't do anything exciting because he worked that night and stuff, but I asked him if he was going to make a 32 with 32 so he could have a list like mine, and he proceeded to take a pen and write a 32 on the paper and tell me he was done. So, guess not. Not that I have been necessarily keeping up with my 30 while 30, but it has, I think about it a lot, which at least it is mentally keeping me focused on that side of things. And I think that once I'm through the summer and this stuff, that the commitments that I made on that front, that I will pay more attention to that list. Though, the shawl and the tunic that I'm working on are both from that list. And going to 5 craft shows is on that list. So I am clearly working at it, just not as briskly as I could be. We have also, around my hubby's birthday, we went to Manhattan one day, went to IHOP for breakfast. That was fun. Kids had fun with that. They always like to go to IHOP. And we like to go to IHOP, so it works out well. While we were there, we went to Menards, where I bought some things for my booth display. For the craft shows this summer, trying to spring it up a little because I have some different items than I had, and since I have more like stuff that's going to need to be on shelves rather than most of my stuff was hung on hangers and stuff because they were clothing items. So I got like a plastic bird bath that I'm going to put like my birds and stuff on. I got some flower pots and some things to use for displays. So that was cool. I should probably tell you. So the shows that I'm going to, I will be at the Tulip Festival in Wamego, Kansas, and that is April 11th and 12th. I will also be at the Kansas Sampler Festival on May 2nd and 3rd, and that is also in Wamego, Kansas. So, and Wamego is, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour from me. So, yeah, that is that. Oh, I got my orange belt in Taekwondo. That was kind of exciting. I did not get to test with everybody else because my ankle had been sprained, and my ankle is still not quite up to par. On Thursday, I was finally able to, with my brace on, able to, like, kick and have some semblance of balance. But I had enough balance that I could go through my form and test, and I passed. So, yay, orange belt, which, I must say, my favorite thing about being an orange belt, I think that the gi looks better with an orange belt than it did with white. Because it kind of looked like marshmallow, and now I have a marshmallow with a little orange twist in the middle, and it's much prettier. So yeah. The weather here is getting nicer. It is getting more springy, though it's a little cool today. The kids are back outside playing in jackets and hats, but we do have a little mini greenhouse next to our wood stove, kind of behind it, so it's warm and in a sunny window, and we have started some seeds in there. And today, hubby was outside transplanting berry bushes. He got 10 gooseberry bushes and a couple of raspberry bushes from one of his coworkers' pastures that they weren't using. So he was out there planting those, and I assume we're going to be transplanting like peaches and apricots and apples and stuff soon, because we have a bunch of pits that we have started into trees in like wine barrels on our porch, and then they live in there for like a year and a half, and then they go and live out in the land. So yeah, he's doing that. Oh, when we were in Manhattan, we went to IHOP. I also finally took my sewing machine in to be repaired. So hopefully I will have a sewing machine again here soon, which would be fabulous because I just keep coming up with things that need to be sewn, and the fact that my machine isn't working is just lame. But it took me a while to find out where to take it. I took it the same place that all of our like schools around here, the home ec teachers apparently take all of the school sewing machines. So I figure they're probably unlikely to break my machine, because if they broke machines, the schools wouldn't take their stuff there repeatedly. Oh, and tomorrow my mother-in-law is coming to visit. So she will be here for a few days. She comes in on Tuesday, and I think she is leaving on Saturday. So yeah, she'll play with the kids. Hopefully I will get a lot of crafting done, because usually that's what I do. When she comes, she plays with the kids, I hide and craft. So hopefully these hands will be moving, either paper crafting or finishing my now basket of stuff. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me this long. I'm going to have to edit out some coughing segments. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting. But hey, what are you going to do about it, right? At least there's a podcast posted. If you're watching, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me this long. If you've made it this far, then I love you more than cows and cheese and applesauce. And I hope you have a good one and continue to make such nice work.